Hello and welcome to MMA Crips Fighting Talk. For today's show, I'll be going one-on-one with Big Fat Gypsy Wedding Star, Mr. Tony Giles. Hello, Tony, and welcome to the show.
Hello there, buddy. You good?
I'm doing good, Tony. Now, Tony, you are set to face Alex Reid at UCMMA 38 on the 1st of February 2014.
AKA Roxanne. It is on. It is a Rhino versus Roxanne. I'm a little bit concerned about this fight. It's because I've never hit a woman, so it's a little bit weird. And if he thinks himself of a woman, is that a bit of a bad thing to do? It doesn't really come in the same category, does it?
I don't know. I believe Alex is down as a male in this fight, but Tony, this is for Children with Cancer UK. Could you tell me a little bit about Children with Cancer UK and how your fight with Alex Reid will help that charity, please?
Right. Well, if anybody's listening to this, they know about Gypsy. We're family-orientated people, and people well come good from the Gypsies through my fighting. Got well known publicly, not like Alex said on this last time he spoke to you on here. I had a minor bit of publicity, and also he said it kept getting my name, which I've known the guy for 10 years. That has completely pushed my wrong buttons. So I would have been a gentleman, but I'm not going to be a gentleman now about Alex. I'm going to tell you the truth about Alex Reid in a sec, but let me sort this out about the cancer. Where we are family-oriented people, the best thing in the world to us, the most important thing in the world to us are kids. Money comes last, kids are first. And for a kid to have cancer, it's just heartbreaking. It destroys you, whether it's your kid, anyone else's kid. So well done well out of cage fighting. It's done well for me. It's time to do good for the kids. So I'm happy with that. I'm really happy with that. I'm also in April climbing a mountain over in Africa for the Virgin Active charity for cancer. So I'm going to try to do as much as I can.
Will a percentage of your purse be going to the charity, or will it be ticket sales, etc., going to Children with Cancer at your fight with Alex Reid?
I'm going to put my purse towards it. As I say, I've got 5 kids of mine. So if anything like that happens to any of my kids, which I pray every day to God it doesn't, I'd like there to be a cure for it or something to try and help them out. So everything's going to it, except for the other side bet, which I'm willing, once I win, to put up my money towards that as well. As long as I can cover my training and everything else, this fight's been coming off for ages. Let's just get it sorted out. At the minute, there's bad blood. The bad blood started in 2009 at Heathrow Airport, Gypsy Ball, when Katie Price was there. I got blacklisted in the press and everything for Alex. I've had to scrape myself up through the fucking ranks again to get to where I am now to fight him. It's took 5 years. I'm not worried about money. It's not about money. It's about the embarrassment of what he's put me through.
Well, speaking of a history between you and Alex, you said you've known him for a long time. You and Alex were set to face one another last year. Could you tell me what MMA company? Was it at Bama?
Yeah, it was Bama. Bama we were supposed to fight on. They called me up. Now, my loyalties lay with Dave O'Donnell at UCMMA. Now, Dave is like one of the most respected people that I respect out of MMA and everything. The guy's never steered me a wrong one. He's never told me a lie. He's always looked out for my best interest, and he's always told me the truth as it is, whether it be good or bad. So I have the maximum respect for Mr. O'Donnell. But he even told me before Bama started sending contracts and everything else, he said they will try and use you to boost the fight up, pull you out at the last minute, not pull me out at the last minute, get rid of the contract. He said they'd put some mug against him. So he told me, so anyway, what did I do? I said to him, Dave, they've offered me, they've done the contract. He said, Tony, crack on with it if you want to. He said, but you know what I said? Well, what happened 2 months down the line, ready for the fight, and we was having MMA fighting. Now, I am a stand-up fighter at the end of the day. I do MMA. I've done MMA for years, but I'm a stand-up fighter. I've been boxing since the age of 8 years of age. So that's 21 years of doing stand-up fighting. It's a hell of a long time. So that is where that is my main strong parts. But Alex wanted MMA at Bama. That's all they do. I accepted that a year ago, no problem. I knew before he could even take me to the floor, it was gone. It was over. I was training so hard, it was a joke. I spent a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of effort. Bama would not sign the contract. They got me the contract, made me sign it, would not sign the contract. So, as I say, I don't want to burn my bridges, I only tell the truth. I ruined my last Christmas So I've had all of that. I had all the bad press for years before. It's just an ongoing thing. I cannot wait till the 1st of February to get this matter resolved.
Now, you mentioned you couldn't be around Alex Reid. Now, I noticed in pictures from the last UCMMA, you seem to have a serious look in your eyes when you're shaking Alex's hand and you sat around him. Alex seems more relaxed. Now, when I spoke to Alex, he did mention to me, he's a nice guy outside the cage, but once he gets in there, he's basically ready for a war. Do you feel like you will approach this fight more seriously than Alex will? Or do you expect Alex Reid to come in as the best Alex Reid?
Alex Reid, at the end of the day, he thinks this is, I've got to tell the truth, because he had me fooled as well, up until a few weeks ago. When I heard him on this very same programme I'm speaking to you now, when he was speaking to you on here, and he was trying to forget my name and saying, I'm a character and all that, he's known me for 10 years, the guys. I've chased him all around the nightclub with 200 people, stopping him from beating the guy to death. All right, we've been in the tabloids together. He knows who I am. All right, and he's trying to forget my name. So from then, I know that he's a false, cheap imitation person. Everything he's been on the TV, Big Brother, Mr. Nice Guy, that's false. I'll prove that. On the 1st of February. I know I've got a few home secrets after the fight that's going to come out. Okay, but I'm not going to do it to the fight. After we have the fight, I get the mic. After I win, I'm going to give all the public a few home truths about Alex Reid to see what Alex Reid's really like.
Well, staying on your fight with Alex Reid on the 1st of February, could you tell me the rules of your bout with Alex? Will it be UK 1 rules, where basically it's kickboxing rules with MMA gloves and obviously you're only allowed one knee in the clinch, or will it be MMA rules, Tony?
Well, we had, at my last fight at UCMMA 36, at the press conference, I saw Alex in the crowd. I said to Alex, listen, I promise I will not offer you up no more. I keep hearing all this chat back about that you want to fight me, what do you want to do? He said to me, yes, I will fight you, I won't fight you, K1. So obviously I made a few jokes out of that, a few laughs. He said, I'll only fight you MMA. I said, okay, no problem. I said, that'll do anyway. Dave O'Donnell called me back a couple of weeks later. He said to me, Tony, he said, I've told Alex, he's a brilliant stand-up fighter. He said he's beat Lee Martin Murray, he's beat John Maguire, who's in UFC. He's beat Jake Bosley, which he beat him back then, he won't beat him now. I know Jake Bosley, he fought one of my teammates, a very good friend of mine. He will not beat Jake now. Not a hope in the world. Jake's one of the best stand-up fighters in the UK we've got at the minute. So he was lucky there, but still on his record. So therefore, Dave O'Donnell said, for you, he said, I rate you a really good stand-up fighter. He said, Alex, he said, I rate him, he said, a bit of a better stand-up fighter for experience. So he said, you'll be an underdog. I said, no problem, let's do it. So it's even better for me, really. We're having a K1 fight with MMA gloves. I think it goes over 3 3-minute rounds. I have tried getting it for 5 3-minute rounds, just for personal pleasure, for the next 2 ones. The next 2 3-minute rounds, just bobbing around him. I'm going to make Alex Reid look silly. As simple as that. I've not said this before. All I've said is I'm going to win. After I've realised what he is, there's no respect for the guy now. Alex, if you listen to this, the gloves are off, buddy. The gloves are off.
Well, this brings me on to my next question. Now, I have to say, you have a kill or kill B style once in the cage, very aggressive, right from the opening bell. Would you be content with slowing down the pace in this fight with Alex and picking your shots more wisely?
Right. There's a very cool saying, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Right, do you know my training today, Sunday? I'm going to the pub in a minute. I'm going to the pub with I'm going to, if I'm getting pissed out of my brains, I'm going to wake up with an hangover in the morning, go for a jog, have a sauna, and then have a row in the cage in the night time. That is how my training progresses. I'm at the minute 80 kilos. Alex walks about 93 kilos. I am going to prove to everybody size does not matter. I am walking into that cage at 81, 82 kilos. We're fighting at 84. He will walk in that cage at 90 kilos. And I'm going to walk to the centre of the cage, put my hands on my hips, and stand and bang. Simple as that. We're going to get knocked out, or exactly what you said at the earlier. So either get knocked out or knock him out. Either way. Alex, middle of the cage, let's give everyone what they want to see, stand and bang.
Well, I mentioned you will approach the fight, basically because Alex Reid, he is a seasoned veteran, like Dave O'Donnell mentioned. He has the experience.
Yeah.
And I like to use the Jake Bostwick fight also as a perfect example. Alex timed in, coming in perfect. The younger fighter, the more aggressive fighter.
Be honest, that's why I said I'm going to walk to the centre. Usually I go out there, I do my thing to win. I'm walking to the centre of the cage, hands on my hips, stand and bang. bang and bang. I've never been knocked out in my life. I've had over 70 fights, boxing, MMA, K1 in all of those. I've lost one semi-pro fight out of over 70 fights, and I've never been knocked out. The worst, I got tapped out on a semi-professional fight, my first ever MMA one, which was fair play. I was beating the guy, got me his learner's curve. It's MMA, anything can happen. All right, so all it done was learn me to learn my ground game better. That was years ago. It was a good thing that happened from it, because that night, after that night, look at the tabloids, me and Alex kicked off, and it's all led up to this moment now.
I was going to ask you next if, obviously, the fans can expect a good few antics, pranks, and, some banter leading into this fight with you and Alex.
Oh, you don't even understand what's happening. I'm not even going to say a word. All I'm going to say is don't blink.
Obviously, you mentioned you can't be around him, so what's going to be happening at the pre-fight press conference, the weigh-ins that you get together?
I'm just going to say one thing, all right? I think they're going to get me a cage, and then they're just going to lock me in the cage for the day in the corner of the room, because I can't be around him. I don't want to do that. I don't want to ruin my reputation. But after a few things what I found out just recently, via the horse's mouth, that's it. The gloves are off. I'm upset. I'm angry. Oh, my God. It's a good thing we got this fight booked up pretty much, because I think I'll be losing my MMA licence. Simple as that.
Now, Alex is set to compete against Rodney Moore. That's roughly about a month after he fights.
That is a load of old crop. This is another thing that me getting at, that he's a false imitation person. What, a month after he fights me, 18-0? He must be mad. What's going to happen is, he's going to come out of the fight, head down, retire from the game, presenting job. That's Alex. Alex, that's your future, buddy. That's your future. Step back. It's the Rhino's time to shine.
Now I want to move away from your fight with Alex Reid for a second.
He's annoying me. Hey? My pants has gone all sweaty. You know, sweaty bumhole, just thinking about him. I could just teabag him right now, choke him to death.
Oh. Now you've been training stand-up martial arts since you were 8, like you mentioned, training boxing and kickboxing. Travellers are also well known for their stand-up battles. When did you first start looking into ground fighting, Tony?
About 2000 it was. I remember watching Tank Abbott fight, I think it was George Turner. Was it Turner? Smiler, they call it?
Gary Smiler Turner.
Yeah, it's Gary Smiler Turner. Well, that was one of the very first ones when I started doing my training. I loved that fight that night. It got me a little bit something. It was Julius Francis. He also had a fight, I think, with Gary Turner. There was Butterbean come over to the UK. I think he had a fight as well. There was a few boxing people that was my idols years ago. Well, not my idols, people I respected, getting into the cage and getting a full fight with them. So it was a little bit of me, being honest with you.
When you first started training ground fighting,
I actually thrived off the chance. I'm really happy for this fight, because I'm an underdog. It's the first time I've been an underdog for a few fights now. And it's not for the sake of me wanting that. It's for the sake of people don't like fighting people that's undefeated. But at the minute, the only reason Alex is fighting me is because he's got nothing else to lose. His celebrity life has been washed up. Well, everyone knew that when he went on Jeremy Cole. Come on. He's not in the papers no more, unless he's talking about Katie Price, which I have a lot of respect for. The lady's a good lady. She's an icon, mate, in the UK. So he's washed up pretty much. And then after the 1st of February, everyone's going to see. As he goes, I've got a car valeting company. I'll give him a job on that if he wants. He can work on reception. Shake their hand as they come in.
When you first started the ground fighting, Tony, was it an eye-opener for you? Obviously in training, when you first practice in BJJ.
Can I honestly tell the truth? Where I was so confident with my stand-up fighting, my head was bigger than my body. I couldn't get beat. When I had a spar and I got took to the floor and all over the top of me, because Jamie Hearn is a very good friend of mine. He started boxing years ago. I don't know if you know Jamie Hearn. He fought Jimmy Manuel. Yeah, he fought Jimmy Manuel with Jamie. He's a brilliant. He boxed for a WBC world title at Boxing Professional. Now, stand up, he's ridiculous. But on MMA, he kept telling me about it. He was like, "Listen, Tone, we think we're the bollocks stand up." He said, "Just come in the cage." When I went over there and got in the cage, jab move. I got slammed on the floor by Darcel Yenzi. He's the Olympic judo coach. He coaches the judo Olympic team. Darcel Yenzi. This guy, his body, he comes from France. He looks like somebody has carved his body out of stone. But he's a gentleman as well. He took me to the floor, screwed me up like I was a packet of crisps, and he just threw me away. and I ain't afraid to admit it. It's complete and utter wipe the floor with me. When I got up from that, I had the biggest reality check I've ever had in my whole life. It was like someone put a pin in my head and popped it. So then after that, it was like, all right, let's start back at the bottom then. We've got something else to work on. I was getting sick of boxing. I was sick to death of bare knuckle fighting. It was the only way I could earn money. Never went to school or anything. In the gypsy community, if you want to earn money, you either fight or go to work. Simple as that.
Did it freak you out there, Tony? Because obviously when you get so good at one martial art and you think, that's what you believe in, you think that's the best, and obviously all of a sudden you get fucking, like you mentioned, you get screwed up like a crisp packet. And
exactly. At the age what I was when I first got screwed up, I was at the perfect age. Because as I say, I've just turned 29 now. I've been around the fight game for 21 years, so I've got enough experience underneath my belt. Especially for stand-up, I've got enough experience for any stand-up sport. But on the MMA now, I believe that after I fight Alex, I have a couple more MMA fights and then I'm going UFC. At the end of this year, I always said I was going to have 5 years hard UCMMA all around England, kicking that off, and then once I get to the age of 30, I'm going UFC. One way or another, I'll be in that UFC. This is going to be a doorway to open up, to see a few more people to see me. I've got a couple of fights that I've got in my head lined up for after. I've had a few chats with Dave O'Donnell. He said to me, let's get one thing done at a time. He said, it's a good idea. So, as I say, all time can tell. So, I don't want to sit here saying I'll fight every man in the country because it ain't going to happen. All I'm saying is I've got a pathway. I'm going to stick to that. And if I can succeed in that, this time next year, Dana White, you'll be sitting next to me, mate, at UFC.
Well, Alex Reid did mention to me he nearly made the Ultimate Fighter 2 times. Then he did make it on season 9. So if you do defeat Alex Reid, he is on the UFC's radar, obviously. So that would be a huge victory. And
Tom Watson went the distance with Alex,
yeah.
This is getting back to me, standing main. Middle of that cage, if I'm going to go UFC, I've got to stand at main. Simple as that. Middle of the cage, stand there, stand at main. It's either me or him. Simple as that. That's how it's going. Stand at main. I'm going to open some eyes now.
Now, Tony, thank you for joining me today, obviously. Is there a message you want to give to Alex Reid before we leave?
Well, he's got to buy me a new phone because I'll crack the screen shouting on it. No, Alex Reid, on the 1st of February, if he can beat me, my man, fair play to you, I'll take you to bar and get your pick. That ain't going to happen, though. I know a few little home secrets from the horse's mouth that you will be informed and everyone else will after the fight. So I advise you put everything into it. Because I'm telling you, not just your fight career's going down your drain, every bit of your celebrity career will be gone.
Okay, thanks to all our listeners who checked out this video. And be sure to check out UCMMA 38 on the 1st of February 2014.